everybody, and welcome to Danielle, the Happy Medium. For those who do not know me, I am Danielle. Let's just get that camera. Oh my God almighty, it's designed to have itself a wobbler. There, that should be it. So welcome to everybody to Danielle, the Happy Medium. For those who do not know me, I am Danielle, and I am going to be your medium for this evening, and I am going to be discussing the intelligence of the spirit world. I'm just looking for the chat at the moment, so we can pick the chat up and see what you lots all got to say. So we can let me just turn it down and see what you lots all got to say. So we can let me just turn it down and see what you lots all got to say. So we can. There we are, all done. Hi to Laura, nice of you to join me. I hope you're well and keeping okay. Hi to Danielle, I hope you're well as well, Danielle, and answer your comments up here really, really nicely. And that's it, yeah. So tonight's topic, hi to Louise as well. So tonight's topic's going to be about the intelligence of the spirit world. So hi to Jill as well, and hi to Caroline, and for all those who are just joining us here on YouTube. So a lot of you have probably maybe not heard of this or haven't heard of this question that's been spoke about, which is the intelligence of the spirit world. So first thing I'm going to say is we're going to talk about what is the intelligence of the spirit world. So the intelligence of the spirit world is that the spirit world are aware of things before we are. That is the bracket in which that the intelligence of the spirit world speaks of. But what it also comes in a lot of subtitles are these extra bits to it. So we're going to sort of break it down this evening so you get a bit more of an understanding of what it actually means. So the intelligence of the spirit world is the fact that the conscious, or the way in which it spoke about, is that the spirit world is far more advanced than we are in respect of the souls, and the fact that the souls that live within the spirit world are far more advanced than us, and that they are more knowledgeable than we are down here. Now, that is truly the case, but in some cases, not all of the cases. The reason being is that some souls are only as intelligent as the way in which that they went over. So the fact that they have free will to stay exactly the same way in which they are here on the earth plane. They can then choose to progress and learn to gain more knowledge. All right. So what we need to remember here, even though the spirit world is more advanced than us, they are only as advanced as the knowledge in which that the soul has grown or taken on. So for example, if we were to take two loved ones who come from the spirit world, okay, and they were to use a trance medium. Now, we've all spoke about trance. Trance is where a medium will sit within a chair and will go into the altered state, which means that they will be more or less asleep, but just before the sleep state. There's 3 states to trance, which is light trance, medium trance, and deep trance. 9 times out of 10, most mediums are heading for deep trance, and this allows that medium to then blend with the spirit world, and the spirit world will sort of take over the voice box, or will speak through the medium, which or use the medium or the vessel as they call it, which is a medium to me and you, for whichever way in which that they would like to use that vessel. Now, if we were to have 2 loved ones come forward, you may have one loved one who comes forward who still only has the intelligence that it had here to the earth. So remember, because the earth, the physical body doesn't go to the spirit world, but the soul does. But that soul is only as intelligent as it was here on the earth plane. Now, we may now get another loved one who comes forward who is more advanced. Now, why would that be? Because that soul has progressed and has learned and has grown and taken knowledge from the spirit world. Now, how do they gain knowledge, Danielle? Who's telling them this knowledge? How does the spirit world know these things? Well, over time, the spirit world evolves, and the spirit world comes to learn lessons just like we do down here. So the spirit world is continuously learning everything and anything, because they have the evolving of this. Our guides, do we know them from a previous life? I'll come to that in a minute, Debbie, all right? But what they will be evolved, or what they will evolve as the time goes on, and they will bring different knowledge forward because that soul has gained it. Now, are the spirit world aware of everything that goes on? Not always, but 90% of the time, yeah, they are aware of everything. And the reason they're aware is because they have evolved and they're knowledgeable, and because we talk about thoughts or living things. but they are not always aware of everything. And the reason I give this example for here also is that should there be a demonstration of mediumship somewhere, and for whatever reason, at the last minute before you head out of the door or whatever, or you've taken a phone call or you've taken something within the break, and your loved ones are there, okay, but then they've realised they aren't aware that you've had to leave for whatever reason, they will not always be made aware of that. The same as down here. Sometimes things get in the way of life, or something sort of happen, and not everybody is aware of that. And the spirit world is also the same. They are not perfect, so they are not aware of every mortal thing that goes on down here on the earth plane, and they are not aware of every piece of knowledge that is available, because sometimes things change, and because of free will, things continuously change, not only in the spirit world, but here on the earth plane. But are the spirit world more advanced and more knowledgeable than we are? Yes. But again, there are side bits to that, and they only have the knowledge of the souls in which that have come through, or the souls in which that you work with within the spirit world, because some souls will progress and other souls will not. This goes to where there's a connection to baby classes, or where you would not put, so say for example, I would not go in for my teaching diploma with the SNU. Why? Because I don't have that knowledge base. I don't have that, I'm not clued up enough for that yet. So what I would do is start at the bottom and work my way up to that particular place. Does that make sense? If I was to go straight there, I would be massively overwhelmed and I wouldn't have a clue what was going on. So ultimately what you will do is start at the bottom, like you would in infant school, primary school, secondary school, college, university. It is the same within the spirit world. So everybody's learning at a particular rate, because everybody and every soul is different, because every soul is individual and every human is individual. So everybody's learning at different states or different time frames. So you might, like I said, the spirit world is very knowledgeable and has a lot of in-depth knowledge, but are they knowledgeable in everything? Not always. All right, so that's a little bit about the intelligence of the spirit world. So let's take a look at some of your comments, all right? So Debbie asked me a question. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi there, so welcome to all you who are just joined. Hi Danielle, all booked in, I can't wait to meet you in May, looking forward to seeing you there, my darling. Danielle says, enjoy listening to you about this. Well, thank you. Good evening to Julie. Debbie saying, our guides, did we know them from a previous life? That is a possibility, Debbie, there, yes. We could have had the same guide come with us, through different many life connections. That is a possibility, yes. Or it could be a brand new guide that you meet here on the earth plane. So is that a possibility, Debbie? Yes, always, because energy can never be broken. Energy is just either manipulated or changed. It cannot be destroyed, energy there. So yes, is a possibility of your question. Yes, not a problem. Why is the room the opposite way around? The door's normally on the left hand side. It's just the camera, love. It's just the camera, so my apologies there on that one. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. So anybody who has questions for me, or anybody who would like a little bit more on maybe the topic in which that we're speaking about at the moment, or if I've I might not have explained that well enough, so if you feel as if I haven't explained that to the best of your ability or my ability, or you want me to break that down more, then I'm more than happy to do that. Or any other questions on spiritualism that you'd like me to speak about, I've got no issue with that there. What's the difference between a mental and a medium and a physical mediumship? Right. Mental medium is a medium who will use the mind. And that is using the clairs, so i.e., and this question comes from Julie. So Julie, the difference between a mental medium and a physical medium is a mental medium will use the mind. It will use the 5 clairs or the 7 clairs, which is your clairsentience, your claircognilian, your clairvoyancy, your clairaudience, the smelling, and also the tasting one. They're the 7 most used clairs there with mental mediumship. And these are thoughts, feelings, images that will be impressed to the mind, all right? And that is a mental medium, and a mental medium will then transmit that information and then speak it. With a physical mediumship is normally either trance, or it will be a seance where a medium is within a cabinet. Trance is again where there will be the altered state, so there will be light trance. Light trance is sometimes where you will see mediums walking around. They will say they're in a trance-like state, but they will be walking around on a platform, or they will be interacting with the sitters, things like that. That's light trance, as I would say. Medium trance is where the medium is losing the ability to be able to sort of do them things and getting ready to drop into a deeper trance. When you get to the deep trance connection, deep trance will be where the spirit world will step forward. They will then impress on that medium, and they will then use that medium's voice box in order to speak through them sitting in a chair. Physical mediumship again comes into the cabinet work. That is where there will be ectoplasm that may come from the eyes, the nose, the ears, the belly button, the mouth, any physical outlet of the body. This is sometimes in a black colour, sometimes it be in a white colour, sometimes it be in all different colours. And what will happen is materialisation will come of the spirit world, and the spirit world will then again also use that to speak through, or use that to move trumpets around the room. It may use it to touch humans within the room. It may write with that within the room. That tends to be done in a dark room, or where there would be a red light. Then we've also got transfiguration. Transfiguration is overshadowing of the medium. So you'll have the spirit world stood here. They will overshadow, or they will push their physical appearance onto a medium. You will then be able to see your loved ones through that medium's face there. With both trance and also cabinet work, you are able to ask the spirit world questions. You can ask them anything you want about the spirit world, what the spirit world want to talk about. Is there any advice or guidance that the spirit world can give you? You may also find that your loved ones may come through on trance work, or on a connection to cabinet work as well. That is also being seen and is done quite regular there. So that's the difference, Julie. So I hope that answers your questions there. All right. Okay. Welsh lady says, apparently my spirit guide was my nephew or my son in a previous life. Guides, there's a big hoo-ha around guides. A lot of people say that your loved ones can't be guides, or part of the family connection. So grandmas, granddads, this, that, the other, if you knew them. All right. Now, I will be very honest, and as you many viewers will already know, my Nana Patsy has worked with me on more than one occasion as a guide and within my team there. So do I know that this works? Yes, I do. But does my Nana stay as a permanent fixture? No. So I could say that, Welsh lady, that is a possibility for the short term, but in the long term, maybe not there. But I would not rule that out, because as a medium, I have seen my Nana work with me on more than one occasion and given more than one message as well. So I tend to be against that thoughts and feelings. But again, is it possible? Yes. Is it not possible? Also no as well. So again, you have to take your interpretation. Again, I'll say this before and I'll say it again. Don't allow other people to tell you who your guides are, because it's not a good thing for you, all right? The reason being is your interpretation of your guides will be something completely different to the interpretation of a medium or anybody else that is given that information. And I see this happen quite a lot. It shouldn't happen, but it does, where people will predict or tell people they're their guides off rostrums, SNU rostrums, floor events, private sittings, etc, etc, etc. That's not for you to know. It's not for you to be told that, because ultimately then you're going away and looking for that person and questioning yourself and thinking, well, why haven't I seen this person? Why isn't this person there? So you're running around wanting to know why this person hasn't made themselves aware to you. Ultimately because they're not there. That's why. If you are meant to see your people, by gummy, you will see them. And you must also remember that they're not going to not want you to know that they're there. They're going to make themselves very, very aware to you. All right? Okay. Next question. So I hope that answers your question there, my darling. Okay, Danielle's asking, do we come back to the earth plane after passing over to the spirit world, or do we just stay in the spirit? As I've read a book, we go through the spirit world and come back. Right, there's a couple of different bits to this, Danielle. All right, so with the first connection to, do we come back to the earth plane? We can come back to the earth plane at any given time, whenever it is that we want to, is spirit, because that's our free will choice. I hear many people talk about, and my nana, I've seen my nana stood in the bedroom, in all our glory there. So can the spirit world come back at any given time and speak to us, or come in through our dreams and let us see them? Yes, of course, without a shadow of a doubt. With connections to, are you talking about reincarnation and learning more souls, or doing more earthly duties? Yes, that's also a connection as well. But again, that's free will. It will be up to them as to whether or not that soul chooses to want to learn in the spirit world, which is what we've just been talking about, the intelligence of the spirit world, or do they want to come back to the earth plane and continue to learn their earthly things here on the earth. With connections to, do they just stay in the spirit world? No, they don't have to just stay in the world. They can come back to the earth plane if they so wish. Again, it's free will. It's entirely up to what it is that spirit wants to do. And if that spirit wants to come back to the earth plane, they can. Do your loved ones come back probably, on a regular basis? Yeah, if they feel they want to. It takes a lot of energy for that, but if the spirit world wants to be through, then they will be through regardlessly there. So I hope that sort of answers your question a little bit there for you, Danielle. All right, Kay's asking, I know people carry on growing in the spirit world, learning and carrying out care duties of sorts, but do they have free will to do their own duties outside the learning and duties? Yes. Yes, they have free will in all that they do. The same as down here. They can do whatever duties they like, whenever they like, as long as it's as long as it's not interfering with other things. So yes is the answer to your question, Kate, on that, because ultimately the duties in which that they perform for the spirit world is just as important as the duties that they feel is good for their soul also. So yes is the answer to your question on that one, definitely. I felt, when I was talking about that, my man's just come in there quite nicely, and I just knew that was definitely a yes connection there for you. I have quite a lot of orbs in my bedroom and some in the living room. What does this mean, please? Orbs are a manifestation of the spirit world, or a manifestation before the spirit world actually fledges into a full-blown spirit. Orbs, if any of you have seen me watch from time to time, I demonstrate, you will sometimes see a lot of orbs flying around me, whether it be on the Facebook channel or whether it be on private demonstrations or SNU demonstrations. It is just a connection to your loved ones, one giving you a sign that they're there, but it is actually a connection before a full materialization of a loved one there. Alright, so I hope that answers your question for you there, Angela. Question coming from Custom Course. When a spirit comes through to a medium, why can't they have a full-blown conversation with me? And for example, most mediums will validate. Right, why can't they have a full conversation for? Well, they do actually have a full conversation. I've seen me have full-on conversations with some of the communicators that come through to me. But you have to remember, not every communicator works the same way. Some communicators or loved ones work completely different to other loved ones. Some work on a clairaudience link, some work on a clairvoyant link. So they're just showing symbols and images. So if they're working on a clairvoyant link, which is the way in which that they've chosen to work in the spirit world, then obviously that full conversation isn't going to be there because they're not speaking it, they're showing it. If you're on a clairaudience link, you've got a better chance of having a full-blown conversation, and I have seen that happen on clairaudience links. If that spirit's just choosing to work on a clairsentience link because that's the way in which that they feel is best for them to be able to translate their information or get their message over, again, that's going to be through feelings and thoughts. It's not going to be through speaking. It's being relayed in a feeling. So that is why you will not be able to get a full-blown conversation. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there. Evening to those who are saying evening. Let me just have a look at some more of these questions for you. I've lost the thingy. It disappeared. Now it's come back. Thanks, Danielle. No problem. Love the nails. Thank you. From Joanne, I see my granddad when I was younger, when he passed and he was standing in the bedroom. I haven't seen him since. Some people see their loved ones only once. Some people see them, loads and loads of times. It just depends on that spirit, how that spirit wants to work, the way in which that spirit feels that it'd like to come back to the earth plane. And again, it's all free will. It's entirely up to them. They might want to come every week. Then other times they might only want to come once every 25 years. It's entirely up to them. Again, there is no time in the spirit world, so they don't really realise how long they've been gone, if they've been gone that long. For us, it's been, 2 years. For them, it's probably only been 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Because there is no concept of time in the spirit world. Time is a man-made thing. It's made by humans. It's not made. That's why they're here. Or have you ever heard the word divine timing? And divine timing is when the time is right. And when the time is right, that will happen. And not before. Man-made time is just something that we run by a clock, basically, so that the country can make bucks out of us, basically. Anyway, what is a trumpet, Danielle? A trumpet is I don't know, let me see if I can draw it for you. I mean, I would have put it on the whiteboard, but unfortunately, I've got stuff up there at the moment with connections to teaching and stuff. But let me draw it for you. So, trumpet is normally a thin-ended thing, and it will be a bit like that. And normally there's like a luminous on it, so with the room being black, certain bits will lighten up, so that when it's being moved around the room, you can see it. Normally these tend to be the edges of the trumpet, quite a thin, lightweight object. This is what it looks like, a bit like this. It might be a little bit thinner sometimes, but normally this will be illuminated, so it will have like glow stick colours, like them glow sticks that you get in nightclubs, and they like shine in the like UV light or within a light where it's dark. These sides will tend to be illuminated up, and this side and the bottom of it as well. The spirit world will move this around the room if there is enough materialization or enough energy that is being produced by the medium in the cabinet for the spirit world to conduct them things. I mean, went that seance the other week, I seen golf balls, like the size of this, They weren't massive. They'll probably be the size of a golf ball that's used on a golf course. And inside it was split because it had lights inside of it. So it was a bit like that, but it was like split, so like it turned. And inside was a light, and there was about 5 of these, and these were all moving around the room. Honestly, I've never seen nothing like it. It was fantastic, phenomenal. But that is a trumpet there, Julie. So I hope that helps you there. Kay is asking, thank you, Danielle. Would it be certain would certainly love the opportunity to have the freedom to just explore and have fun? Well, that's what they're doing in the spirit world. They are exploring. By exploring, they're getting knowledge. You have to remember what you have to, and this is how I say it to people all the time. What you need to look at the spirit world is the brain image of the earth world. Just there's no houses, there's no cars, there's no food, there's no water, there's no nothing, because you don't need them things. But is it the same in the concept of how we learn here on the earth plane? Yes, it is. So I talk to different mediums all the time. I've spoken to 2 today about different subject matters of the spirit world, both giving more or less the same sort of, and these are 2 completely different people from 2 ends of the country, all right, who give very much similar ideas, yet we're trained by totally different people, we're trained by totally different areas of their skill set, right? So what you have to remember is that I taught my best friend. I might then go away and taught my mother, but I'm gaining knowledge from my mother, and I'm gaining knowledge from them 2 mediums, and I'm gaining knowledge from my friend as well. And then I might go along and sit in a course and learn some knowledge there. So what you have to remember is that they're constantly free to learn from whoever it is that they choose to learn. So again, in the spirit world, they will take what knowledge they feel fits for them, and the rest they will leave, the same as here on the earth plane, because they have free will. They're entitled to do that. They don't have to take all that knowledge, unless of course they need to be a guide, or they need to be a doorkeeper, or they need to be whatever it may be. Then of course they need to bring a certain knowledge base set in order to do them jobs for the spirit world there. But always get the idea of the spirit world is very much like the human world, in the way in which that they gain knowledge through teaching, going to school, talking to friends, talking to people on the street, etc, etc, etc. The only thing that they don't have up there is the cars, the houses, the money, because they don't need them things, because it's all for free in the spirit world. They don't live off them types of things. They live off love and off the energy that's within the spirit world there, okay? So anyway, you're very, very welcome for your question. Thank you. Good evening, everybody who's joining. Wow, says everybody, brilliant. Our loved ones, do they get old? If a baby dies, do they grow old? And we celebrate their birthdays. Right. They do not age. Children are the loved ones that go. When they go back to the spirit world, they go back to the age in which that we were here to the earth. Again, this is a human thing. Age is, you know, the age of the body, the time frames around that age of the body, etc., etc., etc. In the spirit world, ages and time and thing do not exist. They do not continue to age in the spirit world. All they will do is their soul will continue to gain and learn knowledge. Again, for children in the spirit world, it is entirely up to them whether or not they choose to stay in the way in which that they pass to the spirit world and choose not to gain any more knowledge, or whether they choose to continue to grow and gain knowledge within the spirit world. It is entirely their free will there again as well. It's up to them, but they can opt out of that. They can choose. They could stay, take for example a miscarriage. We'll just go on a miscarriage here for an example. That miscarriage might have happened, I don't know, 25 years ago, and that soul has decided not to do anything. It's just decided just to stay like that and just be that way, all right? Then 25 years down the line, it thinks, oh, I think I would like to maybe try this or try something else. Then they always have that option there to do or to grow or to expand or to gain knowledge. That is open to every soul living within the spirit world at whatever time that it chooses to do that, whether it be 25, 55, 100 years, whatever it may be. It always has that ability and always has that choice. All right, so thanks very much for your question there, Louise. Julie saying, do you have to train your mind to see spirit as though the spirit has a physical body, or do you say it is a mind eye like a still picture? Right, great question, Julie. This again is again a free will choice. All right, some people will see the spirit world as people. Some people will just see them as energy. Some people will work with them as just saying hands and feet. Some people will see them just faces. Some people will just see bodies. Some people will see just different coloured energy, pinks and blues and greens and whatever it may be. And there is no right or wrong to that, Julie, all right? Everybody sees the spirit world in their own way. And I cannot stress this enough to people. Don't ever let anybody tell you the way you see the spirit world is wrong. I see that going on time and time again and always, and that's bad teaching. And I see that quite frequently, and more so in this day and age. And especially more with this modern day movement that I'm seeing a lot of, where people are telling people that it's not right to say it this way or you should be saying it that way. You see the spirit world in whichever way the spirit world brings itself or presents itself to you. I.e. as Debbie did last week when we were, or the week before when we were talking here about how she's seen the faces in silver. Who am I to question that? Who am I to question the spirit world over the way in which that they show themselves to Debbie in that respect? And Debbie's actually here on the stream. So I am not here as a teacher, nor am I here as anything else to tell people that that is wrong or that is not the right way, because the spirit world will show you either in still pictures, they will show you in symbols, they will show you in silver faces, they will show you as full bodies, they will show you as energy. And the reason being, because it's the easiest way for you to understand it. And again, this goes back to what I was talking about the other week here on the stream. The spirit world want to get that communication through to you as easy as possible and without adding that fear in, because ultimately when you first start working for the spirit world, as much as it is an exciting and very, very humbling experience, it's also quite a daunting experience. And you're like, Jesus Christ, what on earth is going on here? Do you know what I mean? And you're like, oh wow, like this is fantastic, but also I haven't got a goddamn clue what the hell's going on here. Do you know what I mean? So it is the spirit world are mindful. Again, the intelligence of the spirit world, they know what you need as a medium, or they know where it is that they need to take you, or what images they need to show you, or how they feel is best to approach you in order for them to get that over there. Which goes back to the gentleman or the lady who asked from the quarters question of the fact of why can't you have full-blown conversations with them. Some you can, because that's the way in which that they want to interpret you. That's the way that they want to get over to you. The spirit world of the intelligence, which is what we've been talking about, of the topic that this is about, they're aware of that. They're smart enough like that. You know, guides or, you know, your loved ones or the people that are working with your loved ones will know what it is that is important in order to get that message over. So again, you give it the way in which that you get it. I see loads of mediums faff with their work, faff with it, and like mess with it and add little bits in. You know, if you're getting a connection to a gentleman showing me, hear him fixing his shoes, He's not. Don't make it out that he's a cobbler. You just say, I hope you can understand this, that I have a gentleman here who shows me fixing his shoes. I'll give you one of last night when I was on a demonstration. A gentleman showed me fixing socks. So I said to the lady in the congregation, well, you would accept and understand that your father could fix his own socks. She went, yes, my father was an excellent sewer. So always different, and I see massive amounts of mediums faff with their work and don't give what they get and go, that's not right, you can't do that, it's against the rules. Who said you? Who? And this is someone else that I say, and it gets me back up, and I got to be honest with you. Who made you, God and creator of the spirit world? Who says that what you say or the way in which the things are delivered is the true and right way? Because the last time I looked, it was a free world with the spirit world, and it's a free world down here. And the spirit world will ultimately have the intelligence, which is what you lot's all talking about. If the spirit world's so intelligent, like people say they are, then they're gonna know what they need to get over there. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there for you, Julie. All right. Sometimes I play in a movie, yeah. And that's just the way they're working with you, Debbie, and there's nothing wrong with that, nothing at all. Some mediums say, oh, but that's not right, that's a psychic ability. Who are you to question whether it's a psychic ability or not? Who are you to say that that is a psychic ability? Would you know without training that medium? No, probably not. You wouldn't. You would need to get more background on that medium to know where that medium was placed. Anyway, Danielle's got to go because she's got problems on the train. We'll see you later, Danielle, darling. Kay saying, as energy in the spirit world, do you think it's possible for us to manifest our appearance whenever we see fit as we choose? Yes, of course, Kay. Of course. You know, that is the spirit world, you know, they're really cute like that. They're really smart, you know, and this is where I go back to other spirit world smarter than us, which was what was my first conversation was here on this, or the topic of this video tonight. Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. Can they get through to you if they really need to? You know, I mean, I seen a video the other day about random communicators just turning up with swear words put across the front of the cover photo, right? Which I didn't really think was professional, but you know, that's my personal opinion. I'm entitled to that. And they were saying, you know, how random communicators just wouldn't turn up and this, that and the other because of the intelligence of the spirit world. And while granted, I do agree with that to an extent, what you also have to bear in mind there is that the spirit world are not always aware of everything, and you could have had to have left that venue or whatever for whatever reason, or not being able to get there for whatever reason, and the spirit world just hasn't gotten that information at that time. So there is an opportunity at times for that there to go on. But this care with connections to your question, the spirit world can just about do anything that they want to if they really, really wanted to because they're intelligent. But again, it's the intelligence of that spirit or the spirit in which that you speak about. So i.e., some spirits have more knowledge of manifestation or appearance or whatever it may be, and that's the way that they will communicate. Others may not have all that knowledge or not been learned that knowledge because again, they're going through the baby classes and everybody learns at a different pace. So some might come in on a different link or a different clay because that's more important to them. The same with trance work or physical mediumship work. Some communicators will come through and have extensive knowledge of the spirit world and talk about the earth plane and talk about the earthly things here to the earth. You may get another communicator who comes through a physical medium who may not be able to talk about that as much in depth because their knowledge base isn't that strong there and they're still continuing to learn. So always be very mindful of them there. It's up to the individual spirit. Anyway, Gillian's asking, my breast mum passed recently. She came back the day after and laid her to rest. Visit her hubby every night, shouts their names, hobbies, bangs doors, etc. Why? Just because that they want to give you knowledge that they're there. They want to prove that they continue to be around and about you. They want to make you aware that they're very much with you still always and continue to stay with the family connection, in which that they do. Eventually you'll find, Gillian, that will settle down, and eventually you will find that things will return to peace. Sometimes us as humans down here, we become very, very consumed when we lose a loved one. The spirit world become very excited because they've gained somebody, where we mourn that loss, where the spirit world celebrate because obviously when we come to the earth plane, they mourn and we celebrate because we have a birth of a baby. And when we lose a loved one here, we mourn, yet the spirit world celebrate because their loved ones have gone back there. with connections to the banging and things, it's just the where the spirit world or that loved one will want you to know that they're still there with you, and that they're still with your best friend's mom and your best friend and things like that. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. All right. Are guides and angels the same things? No, they're two separate. All right, guides are a connection to wait, there's a couple, let's go through them. So there's your archangels, which is your archangel Michael, your archangel Raphael, your archangel this, that and the other. They are some of your higher ranking sort of angels, and they are angels who will assist any human when they are called upon. They will never ever not support that human for whatever purpose in which that you ask that angel to assist you with. So that is there, and they will assist many humans across the earth plane there. They are not anybody's guide, nor will they guide anybody at that time. They are there to assist humanity and to help every human in some way, shape or form if requested. Angels you have to invite into your life. You have to ask them to assist you, and you have to ask them to be involved within your life. As with any guide or any spirit for that matter, you have to invite them to work with you. They are not going to push on you. I had this massive, not massive row, but I had this massive discussion with a girl on Facebook the other day who was convinced that she had some demonic thing with her because she had these scratches on her body and this, that and the other. And I was like, the spirit world wouldn't do that, sweetheart. They're too intelligent for that type of thing. But anyway, getting back to Julie's connection. So they're archangels. Then you've got your guardian angel. Guardian angel is given to every person here on the earth. From the minute you leave the spirit world, all your earthly life, and then before you go, until you go back to the spirit world. Whether you find your guides or not, you will have that guardian angel. Well, whether that be an energy, whether it be an energy you know, or whether it be a completely random energy that you know nothing about, that person will be there overseeing and watching you here on the earth plane. Their job is to sort of help you on your day-to-day life, or, you know, sometimes when you hear somebody take a turn left and you miss a massive car accident, that can be either your loved ones or your guardian angel there. So that's their purpose and what that they're there for. The guardian angel will not get involved within your spiritual team, nor will it guide your spiritual team in any way, shape or form. Now, with your guides are people who are here or given to you from a connection from birth and will take you through your earthly life. Now, this does not always necessarily happen, and this does not always necessarily, where I don't necessarily agree that the guides in which that you're given to you from the spirit world, even though the intelligence of the spirit world is intelligent, unfortunately us humans have free will. All right, and we can change a guide at any given time. Doorkeeper, whatever it may be. People say that you should stick with the guides in which the spirit world give you, but what the spirit world are not always aware of is that what they thought may have been right for you could have actually altered or changed. So ultimately, that then now your team then has to change because of that, because ultimately you will have changed as a person, or certain things will have changed for you as a human. So therefore, the spirit world will need to adjust that team in order for that team to adjust with you. Also, you may progress a lot quicker than the spirit world first intended, or may move forward more faster than the spirit world thought you would, or you might have learned more knowledge than the spirit world first thought that you would have as well. So again, your team or guides will need to alter because of that, because ultimately you have moved forward faster, or you've learned more than what them guides can assist with you, because not all guides have all their knowledge, even though they've done training, plus also personalities. As much as people say these guides don't have personalities, it's absolute flaming nonsense. Guides do have personalities. They were once human. They were once people. Of course they're going to have traits of their personality, and as much as we want to get along, guides do want to get along with every human. That's not always the case, because ultimately personalities do clash, and ultimately sometimes you will clash with a guide for whatever reason. They might be a right miserable swine, and you're nothing like that. So ultimately you're not going to want to work with that guide, because ultimately that guide isn't working to you, and that's again your free will there. You know, I mean, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, you know, guides this, guides that, but what you have to bear in mind is that these guides, even though they have done their training and have done extensive training in the spirit world, there is always that element of personality clashes, or knowledge base, or the fact that you've outgrown that guide. Because ultimately, as a medium, as you're walking your path, you're gaining knowledge, you are gaining life skills, you are gaining more knowledge from the spirit world, and ultimately at times you will and do outgrow them guides for whatever reasons. So there's just a little bit about that there. So I hope that sort of helps you a little bit there, Julie. Are guides and angels the same? No, sweetheart, they're not. All right, so I hope that answers your question. Let me just put the light on, folks. It's getting dicky dark. Not too late there for you, I hope. You know, we are going to be sorting the YouTube channel and stuff out. And I am going to be going for some new stuff. I'm still waiting on it. Actually, I've ordered some bits and pieces, but it hasn't come yet. Anyway, so that's Julie's question. So Caroline's saying, I have actually had a right giggle with the spirit world before. I thought it was going crazy until I realised I actually couldn't be communicating with the spirit and talking. Yeah, and you know, I have a great giggle with my gentleman, you know, and with my man who works with me, and he's been with me some time, you know, and he says the most interestingest of things, and he's quite smart-witted, and he's certainly sort of got a great personality about him. You know, why would I want to work with something that's just got no personality, you know, and know this or know that? You know, why would the spirit world want to do that to me? Because, you know, ultimately the spirit world want me to be happy. You know, they want you to build a relationship with your guide. How are you meant to build a relationship with a guide if it's got no personality? Does that make sense? So, thanks again, Dad. I don't care if I pass at 50 or 90. I'd love to learn to be able to manifest my best looks in the 20s. Don't we all, Caleb? Don't we all? Anyway, you're very welcome, Gillian. Michelle's saying, I still have my mum's ashes. Want to scatter them, but feel that she's... Yeah. Sorry, my darling. Would it block any communication with her, please? No, I have to do so. No, absolutely not. And I hear this quite a bit and all across the platform and all about, you know, the amount of excuses I've heard. Oh, my guides have up and run the day. I can't do me work. Oh, there's no energy in the room the night. I can't do a communication. Oh, your mother's, my mum won't come through because she hasn't been passed over 6 months. I've heard everything and anything, to be honest with you. I've heard it all, and really the top and bottom of it is that as personal responsibility as a medium, you're either one, aren't trained properly enough, or two, you're not in a good place to be reading on that particular day, because ultimately as a mental medium, your mindset has to be in the right place in order for that communication to go ahead. Also, you need to have a lot of knowledge base there as well. I hear a lot of people, you know, say, oh, I couldn't get her through because I don't have the knowledge base set. And then that I can agree with, because ultimately, if you haven't been through that life experience, or you don't understand that life experience, and while we will have sympathy for that, we will not understand that completely, nor will we have that knowledge base set in order to be able to relay that information over to the best of its ability there. So with connections to scattering or ashes, will that block our communication? Most certainly not there. For you, I would say if that's a good thing for you, then do it. You know, but will it stop your mum coming through, Michelle? No, definitely not, my darling. All right. Let's have a look. The corrupt channel, death is our own release. Yes, I would agree with that corrupt challenge. You know, death is a release, you know, because to be honest with you, it's hard work here on the earth plane, and we certainly have some really, really hard lessons down here to learn. And some people struggle, you know, more with their lessons than others. You know, is this world an easy world? Most certainly not. And it certainly comes with its trials and tribulations there. You know, do them in the spirit world have it much easier? Most definitely, I would say, most definitely. But thank you for your question there, my darling. Debbie's just saying great insights, things like that. Joanne saying, I was meditating, trying to communicate with my guides, new to this. Great stuff, great to hear, Joanne. I just started thinking of a name, looked up, and it was my mum, who had a special child, needs child like me. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong at all. You know, I wish you well on your journey there, Joanne, and I hope it continues to go from strength to strength. I just started thinking of a name, looked up, and it was my mum. Your mum will always be there. You know, loved ones are a great source of help there within the spirit world. They will continue to support you as much as they supported you here on the earth plane. Why wouldn't they? You know, my nana was a great supporter of mine here to the earth, and she still continues to be a great supporter of mine within the spiritual world. You know, does she work my team as much now? She used to, most definitely not, because she's probably busy with her own stuff within the spirit world. But is she still around and about from time to time? Most certainly. Does she bring me information from time to time? Yeah, definitely. Does she tell me what's coming in on the earth plane? Most certainly not. Which is a bit of a bummer there, but that's that. But, don't, your mum will always be there. She'll always be assisting you. She'll be your biggest cheerer in the spirit world there, and she will help to guide you and assist you in all your spiritual aspects of work. I wish you well, Joanne. Certainly do keep me updated on that, won't you there? Scaring me, but reading book now. Careful with the books, all right? Because what you have to remember with books is that's everybody's interpretation. That's their interpretation of what it is that they've seen, or it's their interpretation of what they've read or what they've learned, etc., etc., etc. My advice, read the book. By all means, take what you need from it, but the rest drop, all right? Take what resonates with you or what sits right with you. Listen to you. If someone's writing something in that book and you're thinking, oh, this doesn't quite sit with me, or I didn't really believe that, same with me. If you're watching me now and you think, nah, Danielle, I can't really get that, like my love, or, I didn't think that would be completely right, then you're well within your rights to either question me more on that, or think, look, I maybe need to go away and watch another medium, or I need to go away and watch somebody else to get more clarity, or maybe that their way of how they speak about things will better resonate with me. And that's again with anything. Always trust you. Always take what's best for you. The rest, ditch. I mean, I've seen all sorts over the years, and, some of it I look at and I think, yeah, you've got a point, yeah, I sort of get that. Other thing, I attack an absolute flaming tush, you know what I mean? On your bike with that malarkey. And that's just how I do it there. So always keep that with you. Is it true that little guides, dog keepers, etc. are usually Indian boys and girls and act like messengers, like locating spirit to connect you? Right. Julie, there's a big thing about Indians, nuns, priests, you name it, right? And there's nothing wrong with them guys, nothing at all, nothing at all. But there's nothing wrong with your blogs down the road who used to live in a terraced property, because they may have advanced enough in order to be able to go into guide school and do guide work. So it isn't always red Indians, white Indians, bloody monks, Chinese people, whatever it may be. I've worked with many a guide. I had a woman who worked with me when I first started out. I had a gentleman who worked with me. He was a bloody sailor, Bob. Honestly, was a cracking guide. I loved him to death, but obviously I outgrew him, and unfortunately he went back to the spirit world, and a new guide's come forward for me. But he was a man who had been on a boat and had died on a boat. He was involved in the Pearl Harbor thing, because our question mark guides, I like to know a lot about them, and it's a good way of building a relationship with your guide. If you've got guides at the moment, ask them how they died, ask them where they died, ask them if there's any information that could lead you to find that person here on the earth plane. Makes for cracking, relationships, or building that relationship. Because can you imagine, right? If you got a load of information from your guide, you went away and started researching it, and it all turned up, you'd be like, yeah, you know what I mean? And that really does build trust with your guide. It builds massive trust. And I've been doing this with my guides for years. And it brings excellent ways of, building trust with them, because then you think, well, you couldn't be lying to me because I found you. I found you on the earth plane. Does that make sense? I've been able to find you. And if you don't find them the first time, then you ask them for more information. Do you know what I mean? And you keep looking, because ultimately, them people will have been on this earth plane in some way, shape or form, and guides want to prove who they are to you. So always check that out. But whether it's a red Indian man, a bloody blue Indian man, a bloody priest with a bare backside, it don't make any difference. Or it's Joe Polly from down the road who used to just be a postman. They will be just as good as any other there. I talked about different guides last week, and ultimately, as long as you've got your doorkeeper and a main guide, you don't really need a lot more. But again, some people like more in their team. Always remember, the more guides you got, the more you got to manage. It's you're managing a team. You're managing extra personalities, extra energy. And it makes life complicated for anybody who's starting out. The more guides you've got, the more complicated it gets. The best thing to do is keep it simple. As you progress along and more guides want to enter the team, try it. If it doesn't work for you, say, no, I just want to stick with what I've got. Again, it's trial and error. Work with what feels best for you. If it doesn't feel right for you and you just want to stay with one guide, stay with that one guide. If you want to have 10 guides, have 10 guides. There is no right or wrong here, folks. And you should always do what you feel is best for you. I see many people go, oh, you should have this many guides, and oh, you should have a little girl in there, and oh, my God bless you. And I'm looking around and thinking, who are you? Who are you to tell people what they should or shouldn't have? It is the spirit world's job to tell people what they should or shouldn't have, because ultimately, with the best of intention, they sort of know what you do need. But again, you have a right in that. So if your guide says, oh, look, then I would like to add a new guide to this team, then you will look and think, yeah, okay, then we'll try it. And then if he's like, and then if it doesn't work, then he said, look, it doesn't really work for me, I'm not that keen on them, come and try somebody else. It's up to you. It's like working with a team, you know, and making sure that the right people are in that team so that it works to the best of its ability. And you have as much say as the spirit world does, because ultimately they want you to be just as happy as you want to be working for the spirit world there. All right? Okay, let's have a look at this. So, what do you mean by locating your guides? Says Chan. What do you mean by locating your guides? Okay, locating your guides, as in what do you mean by, I haven't actually said that. What do I mean by locating your guides? I haven't used that word. Locating your guides. I haven't used that word. So can you rephrase your question for me there? Chan, random review says, hi, how you doing? I'm very well there, random reviews, and I'm your channel. Well, nice to see you there. Hope you'll subscribe and, you know, maybe join in with a conversation. If you have any questions, please do give them to me. Denise says, when my mum comes in my sleep, I love it. I told her to keep coming, but I haven't seen her since. She'll keep coming there, Denise, you know, give her some time, you know, she'll certainly pop in when she's ready there, all right? Because they never ever leave us, and they may just be that, you know, she's just doing some bits and pieces up there, and she'll be sharp through when she's ready. Hi to Karen. Hi, Danielle. I have my friend with me all the time as a guide. Nothing wrong with that, Karen. If that's what you so choose to wish, and that's what you so choose to want, then who am I to say any different, my darling? And I've just been talking about that there. What is this live stream about? It's about the spirit world and the intelligence of the spirit world. They're random reviews, all right? But yes, definitely, Karen, nothing wrong with that. My nana used to work with me. I see many a medium snub at that. And I think they snub at it because they don't know, and they've never had it done to them, so therefore they don't know any different there, if that makes sense. You said something about asking your guides questions. Ah, right. About them and telling you things to know that they were being on the earth plane. Yes. When you've got a guide, you know, when you're building this relationship with your guides, you should be questioning there, Chan. Thanks very much. It's okay, my darling. I'll always work with you there. And I'm one of them mediums that will always try to work with you so you understand what I'm saying to you, darling. All right? But definitely, you know, ask your guides questions. Ask where they came from. Whereabouts in the world are they from? How did they die? Did they have children? Were they married? Could you find them here on the earth plane? You're building that relationship with your guide, and if you can go away and validate that information here on the earth plane, then by golly gum, you're going to be like, wow, it's proven that this person was on the earth plane, and it builds extremely good trust with your guide, because ultimately you're then going to know, well, they're not lying to me. And a lot of people question whether guides are lying to them. They're questioning whether it's their subconscious, whether it's their imagination. But how can it be your imagination if you're given information, you go away and find it to be true and correct, and you found that person there on the earth plane. So therefore you can't be talking to yourself, can you? Because humans so need that validation, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we do need to work on that trust, but ultimately when we're working with our guides, we want to build that trust with them. So they're going to help you build that trust. They're going to look, you know what I mean? It's in their nature to want to help you, because they want you to believe in them as much as you believe, as they believe in you. So they're going to give you everything you need in order for you to go away and find out who they are. All you might do is misinterpret the bits and pieces of that information, so you may have to sit a little bit longer, or you may need to re-ask them questions. Remember, ask questions in the spirit world. If you're not asking questions, and how the hell are you meant to know anything? You know, they're not just going to freely give out all that information. You know, it's like talking to your granny on the bus stop. If you're not asking other questions, and how she's going to tell you the information, your guides are the same. Does that make sense? You've got to be asking them you know, questions, you know, about how they live their life. What is it they feel that you should be doing? What more can you be doing to develop as a medium? They have the answers. They're there to assist you. And a lot of people get caught up in what other mediums say, and take other people's or other mediums' ideas and what they say is gospel. I would go with my guides over any medium any day, because ultimately they know better than anybody what you're about, and as that relationship grows they come to know you better, and they know again even more about you because they're also getting that information from the spirit world. Does that make sense? The spirit world know who you are, or have a good understanding of who you are. Bits and pieces might have changed and they need to be brought up to speed on that, but they have a general understanding of who you are because you from spirit, you come from spirit, go back to spirit. So they can download that information if they need to. If my guide needs to go away and ask for some further information, he'll either go to his team that's standing out the back, because there's not just him, there'll be other people that work with him. And if they can't get it from there, they'll go to the spirit world and get the information. It might take a bit longer for that to come in, do you know what I mean? But they'll eventually get what they're looking for. So question your guides. Test them out, ask them information. You're not going to ask them about predicting, because they're not going to predict for you. But, you ask them about, maybe like, let me give you an example. Ask them about, I don't know, like, did they have an animal? You know what I mean? Can that animal be found? Where can that animal be found? What information can they give you? What information can they give you about the spirit world that can be validated in a book or validated in some other way, shape or form? So always be questioning your guides there. I see lack of question of guides on a day-to-day basis. It's a fundamental biggest mistake that any medium does, is they do not question their guides enough. They do not talk with their guides enough, or they talk about the things that are important to the earth plane. Is everything all right with my daughter? That's not their purposes, and you need to be very, very mindful of this when you start working with your guides. Stay away from that. Do not become reliant upon your guide living your life, because that's not what they're there for. That's not their purpose. They will not tell you anything about anything to do with you in respect of life, how your life will be, how many children you're going to have, and all this type of baloney. Even if they had that knowledge, which they probably do, they're not going to tell you, because it's none of your business, because it's interfering with your life path and your free will. They're there to guide you spiritually. So if you want to know about your spiritual path, then yeah, they're going to inform you. But again, you will only get what is important at that time. They won't predict the future for you. And people need to get very much away from this with guides, and the fact that guides predict. Guides do not predict. My man's never predicted yet, and I don't think he's going to stop predicting yet. So do be very mindful of that there, all right? Not a problem. Do you ship ylang ylang and the cardamom candles outside of the US? Yes, we do. Random review. Yes, we do. Debbie saying true. I really love validations, but when I ask that, I just feel that whatever it is up there, just being for thousands of years strange, I just need to learn so much. Remember, Caroline, you're always learning. I nearly lost you there, folkies. You'll always be learning, always. I didn't know everything, and I've never progressed. And all the time I've been sitting on my Facebook platform, or here on this YouTube channel for that matter, and all, I will never know everything, and I never will know everything. And I'll be stupid of me to sit here and say that I didn't know everything, because I would then look like a right nog, right? I will only ever know what the spirit world feels I need to know, what my guides feel I need to know, or where my knowledge base set will take me, i.e. through training, through seeing other mediums, through doing SNU work, through us doing me training with the SNU and other training I do elsewhere. Will my knowledge base grow because of that? Of course, but I will always be capitalising on that. I will always be learning on that. But again, I will always take what I need from a Caroline and drop the rest. And to be honest with you, Caroline, a lot of the stuff I say out there at the minute, I'll drop everything. I'm taking it because I just think the lack of knowledge and the lack of it cracks me up. I see so many people ramming opinions down people's necks. I see so many people pushing their opinions on people of this should be this way because that's the way it is, and the mechanics of this and the mechanics of that, and da. And I'm just like, and I see that go on all over Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, and I'm seeing it time and time again, men and women actually, pushing their opinions on people. And training isn't about that. Training is about giving people an opportunity. You are giving people a choice. And I'm saying no choice. We are training mediums. All mediums saying this go on quite a bit now of like, You must be trained this way. You've got to give this evidence. This has got to be done. This has got to be done this way. This is good evidence. This. But again, who are you to validate what is good evidence and what is not? Because ultimately, the people who give good evidence are the people who state as good evidence is the reciprocator, is your client, is the person who's sitting with you. You know, a good old-fashioned apple and blackberry pie, and while it might not be in lot in respect of evidence, could be the making or breaking of your reading. Could be the making or breaking of it. Because ultimately, there could be a story behind that apple and blackberry pie. And I see it time and time again, mediums fling or push that kind of evidence. Oh, it's not good enough, it's not a street name. It's not a full name, it's not a door number, it's not a national insurance number, it's not this, it's not that. And while they're good bits of evidence, ultimately, would I be interested in somebody sitting stand telling me what address my mother lived in? No, not really, because it doesn't really impress me, because that's not what I'm looking for in reading. And while some people will be looking for that, it ain't everything. Alright, so keep that in mind with your evidence there also. Debbie saying, mediums use tools. What is the favourite tool for you, or does it depend on the type of spirit that comes through? I don't use tools with my readings. I read energy. But when I first started out, tarot cards. I have no issue whatsoever in tools or anything to do with tools or anything of such sort. You know, tools are just as an important thing. Pendulums, I've seen some cracking results with pendulums. Absolutely Brahmin, you know, connections with them, no issues whatsoever there with them. Dowsing rods, I've seen really good things with them. I've seen some really good things off Ouija boards, angel boards, and them types of things as well. So ultimately, a tool in which that you should pick is the tool in which that you're drawn to. If you had a set of tools, whether it's tarot cards, pendulums, you know, whatever it may be, angel boards, all laid out in front of you, look at them and see which one you're guided to, because that's your body telling you which one to have. Always go with what feels for you. Go with which you're drawn to. It's a bit like the stuff that I put up on Facebook, on the page and stuff. You know, the cards or the animals or whatever it is I put up. Some years I'll pick owls, some years I'll pick zebras, some years I'll pick pandas, some years I'll pick this. Why? Because that's what goes for you, because that's what suits you. If I was to sit here and go, oh, you know, you should have tarot cards, you know, this particular brand, X, Y, and Z, then I'm telling you what to do. And that's not the purpose of my channel. My channel here is to give you free will and choice. So my advice to you, if you're looking for tools, whether it be pendulums, tarot cards, whatever it may be, look through Amazon, you look through wherever. Go down to one of them psychic fairs. There's a lot of them down there in the south. Plenty of people selling different things on them stalls, and see where you're drawn and take the one that you're drawn to, because ultimately that's what your inner being's telling you. So go with that there. So thanks for that question, Julie. Debbie saying, do you hear spirit in your mind, eyes and ears? I hear spirit internally and externally, and I say spirit internally and externally. So remember what we talked about last week with the clairs. So clairs, we will get clairvoyancy, which is internal. So internal clairvoyance, which is where you'll see spirit within your mind. Then you'll see objectively, which is where you'll see clairvoyance with the spirit world with your own eyes. Look at me. I look like, I felt like catch the pigeon. Anyway, getting back to the more serious stuff here. Then you'll get a connection to you'll get internal hearing, which is where you'll hear the thoughts and feelings within your mind, or you'll hear the names and things within your mind. Then also you'll get objective clairaudience, which is where you will hear your name being shouted outside. So if somebody was shouting of you, did you like them there? Did you like that? I just thought I had to do a little something there. Or you'll hear objective clairvoyance, which is where you'll hear somebody shout your name there. All right? I hear them all four. And then I work clairsentience as well, and I work clairempathy, and I work claircognition. So I'm working with about 8 clairs, 9 clairs, sometimes all in one message, sometimes just in one message, sometimes in some messages. It just depends on which way that spirit's working. And I'm finding, because I'm working on all them clairs and they're getting stronger all the time, I'm able to work with different spirits. You know, once over I was working with them that just wanted to work clairvoyantly. Now I'm working with all ranges of spirit, because ultimately my clair set base has grown so much there over the last, I would say, 18 months. So now I'm doing people on just a clairaudience link. I'm doing people on a clairvoyant link. I'm doing people just on a claircognilian link. I'm doing people objectively, subjectively. The amount and my learning is getting bigger there all the time. Gives a look anyway. Julie's saying, if someone hurts you in this life, do they have to say them again in your past? No, if you're not want to. I laugh. I was at Leeds at the weekend, right, doing a demonstration of medium down there. Thanks to everybody who come along. Maybe some of you girls was on here that was there that night, and what a cracking night we did have. But there was a lady in the audience, and she had 3 husbands, and each and every one of them come through, and she asked me that question actually when the demonstration was finished. She said, look at Danielle, you know, if I was to go to the spirit world, you know, could I choose which husband I wanted to stand with? And I was like, yes, of course, as long as they agree to stand with you, well, because you've got to remember it's free will of them there also. But ultimately, if they agree and you agree, then yeah, you can be with anybody you want to be in the spirit world. And if somebody chooses to hurt you, then you choose. Yeah, that was Carol. That's right, Louise. You did, yeah. So if you choose to not want to be with somebody because they hurt you, then again, that's your free will, and that person will not be able to step up on that there, or will be able to interfere with that there. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there for you, Julie. Anyway, you are laughing at me. Do you teach yourself to learn the different clairs, clairaudience, etc.? I tell you how I learned. My guides. And you know, I've had very little training, right? I've been mentored, but I haven't really had a lot of training, right? I only started training last year, and that was only because I thought I wasn't good enough, right? I thought my evidence wasn't strong enough, and actually really my evidence was strong enough. I just wasn't in a good place at that time, right? I was a medium who come up onto the path, I meditated, I brought all my own team in, I worked with cards, I self-taught myself cards and everything, right? And then I sat for a full year. I cannot recommend this enough to people about sitting in private, sitting for a year, 2 year tops. Why? Because it gives you good knowledge-based sets. Practice. Get in rooms, get in photo rooms, get practicing on your friends and family. Do not get out in the general public before you're ready. And I see this go on massively in all the amount of mediums that are getting up on public demonstration floors and are absolutely have no idea what they're doing. And I see it go on time and time again. I cannot recommend highly enough practice, 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 practice. And that's all I did for a full year and a half as a medium. It sat in one-to-one work, group work, practice, was in photo rooms. Anybody who knew me 2 years ago will know I had in my group Gateway Between Two Worlds, I was doing massive amounts of photos in there on a free basis, practicing my skill set, practicing my knowledge set, using the different clairs. And what you will find is the spirit world, as you start to progress down that path, the spirit world will take your sight off. And this freaks 50% of you mediums out, like, oh my god, my sight's gone off. But what you'll find is that when you come to work with the spirit world, they'll still have that sight. They just dull it down so that your clairaudience can come in. How are you going to keep using? How are you going to make another how are you meant to make this work if you're constantly using this? And what happens is we become reliant upon working on clairvoyant. Why? Because it's the easiest and it's the one that's not going to freak you out the most. People want to see what they're given, and if they can see it, then they don't freak it out. Does that make sense? So the minute they take this off, right? So the minute they take this off, and the minute what they will do is that they will then bring your clairaudience in. So they'll still leave you bits and pieces of your sight, so when you're working, you'll still be able to see it, but you'll find that you'll start to hear a lot more. Then you might find that they adjust this and give you this back, they'll bring you a clairsentience link in, and that goes over the years, Does that make sense? What do you think about the politics right and left? I feel as though it's a massive debate between individualism, right, and collective left. Not big on politics, but I'm interested in individuality. Michael, I cannot stress enough the importance of individuality, not only in mediumship, but within the human rights and active in everything. That we are a society who lives off conformity and people being of the collective instead of being an individual person, and that everybody, and I say this go on with the mediumship and all, everybody should be the same. Everybody should be given the same evidence. Everybody should be doing this. Everybody should be doing that. Absolute nonsense. Why would you want to make everybody the same? Why would you want to make everybody a dummy? Why? It doesn't make sense to me. We are all individual people, all living our own individual lives, and what we tend to forget down here on the earth plane is that far too many people judge each other, and if we give half our time to loving each other or loving ourselves half as much as what we did on anything else, then this world will be a much better place there. But with connections to the Claires and Chan Chan's connection there, I cannot stress enough you making sure that you do your background work, you sit and do them private sittings, you do them telephone appointments. Telephone appointments are an excellent way of enhancing your mediumship. Why? Because you haven't got the sitter in front of you. You've got nothing to connect to, nothing but voice vibration. Voice vibration is a spiritual link. So when you're doing telephone appointments, you haven't got that one-to-one person in front of you, so you can't connect to their energy because there's nothing there. There's nobody there. Does that make sense? So you're not going in on a psychic link. You've got to go in on a mediumship link. I would recommend to anybody making sure that you get at least 50% of your telephone appointments in. You know, making sure that that's how I started, sitting private, sitting telephone appointments, working with my client base, building my reputation, then moved that to public demonstrations, SNU churches. I did a lot of SNU churches, then moved from there to events and floor work. That's how I did it, and that's how I found it best for me. But that may not work for everybody. And again, you have to look at where you want to be. Do you feel that you're ready for that public demonstration? If so, great stuff. Get yourself away, but remember your personal responsibility and amongst all of that. Remember how you're saying things, the way you say things. You know, it's no good saying, I've got a little old lady here who tells me, I'm aware of an old lady who tells me that she messed herself. One, you're going to upset your communicator. Two, you're going to accept the lady in the congregation because you're talking about a mother like that. What you need to be saying is I'm aware of a lady here who I know so has had some problems with taking care of herself there towards the end of her life. Could you accept that? In the woman in the congregation, you're then keeping your tack filter, because I see that going on and all, no tack filter. People just, just absolutely no, like foot and mouth syndrome. I've seen that go on and all, and I'm cringing in the seat and I'm thinking, oh my God, that's somebody's loved one. Always remember, when giving a message, and I keep this very personal to me, I always say this, and I used to say this awful lot on my Facebook page, if you want to give a message, always give a message in the way that you would want a message from your loved one. In every medium, I would give that as a statement. I give that to my students. I always give a message in the way that I would like to give a message or get a message from my Nana Patsy. And if I can get my messages as good as the message that I'd like from her, then you're on to a winner. Always keep that personal touch. Keep it humble, folks. Don't ever get ahead of yourselves. Watch that ego. I see many a medium's ego step out. Oh, look at me, I'm the best thing, I'm the next best thing, since sliced bread, I see you go on all the time, look at me with my big name, my big lights, etc, etc, etc. What you've got to ask yourself the question is what you want to work for the spirit world for. That's the big, I ask this goes on with all my training as well, and I ask all my students, anybody, Louisa, I don't know if you're still here on this connection, but Louisa was part of my old training group that I trained, and I asked each and every one of them, what do you want to work for the spirit world for? What's the reason? Yeah, everybody has a reason. What's your reasons? Do you know what mine was? Mine was to help people. Mine was to bring some guidance and to give people peace of mind. You should not be doing mediumship for money. I never ever started my business in order for money. That just come as second nature. It was never what I did mediumship for. It was just part of my path. That was just what happened. The business grew. It just happened to be that way. Does that make sense? But I ask every student that's ever worked for me or trained by me, what you do mediumship for? Because ultimately I want to know what you're doing it for. And I know just by the way they speak that energy, that I can tell whether people's lying to me or not. But yeah, I ask each and every one of my, and I also train mine with the connections to public liability, insurance, how to say things, the way to say things, tackle it, your tack filter. You got to be mindful of them things always, all the time. Anyway, Sharon saying my telephone reading with Danielle was fab, my face-to-face reading was brill. Thank you very much for that. If a professional body like the police came to you and asked you to help them in a case, would you agree to that? No, Julie. No. Doesn't sit with me. I know some mediums who do it. I know some psychics who do it. To be honest, it's not for me. It's not something that I would be interested in. In this country, it's not allowed. They don't use it. In America, it's used quite strongly there, but and in Europe and things from time to time. But in this country, they don't use it. But for me, if somebody asked me about that, and would I be interested in it? Nah, it's not for me. And again, that's just a personal choice. Not the fact that I disagree with it in any way, shape or form. It's just not something, Julie, that particularly want to do. I believe that certain things like that should be left to the law. That's what the law is there for. We've got plenty of DNA and scientific proven, stuff these days. What do you need a psychic or a medium for that connection there? Also, personally, it's not what a medium's designed for. A medium is just to prove the life continuation of a soul. That's all it's there for. Psychics, maybe, maybe not. Again, it would be up to that psychic or that psychic's individuality as to whether they chose to take that case. But for me, it's a personal choice. No, Julie, there, no. Anyway, thanks very much for all those who've been giving me questions, and thanks very much to all those who participated this evening. Have we any more questions? If not, I'll be signing off for this evening. Thanks to Michael. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts and feelings there on individuality. I believe that everybody should be their own individual, unique self in all matters spiritual and human there as well. And I think we should all remember that there as well, that we should just be as good. All right. Any more questions? Louise is saying, thank you for your honest answers and insights, Danielle. As always, Louise, as always, not everybody will agree with anything that's spoke about here on this on this channel, and that's okay. This channel is there only as an opportunity for people to take what they want and leave what they want. Again, I am not here to practice nor preach. I am just here to give people free will and choice. Remember, Spirit class starts on the 28th of May with some exciting new videos coming up there, and certainly a great opportunity for those who are looking to gain more knowledge of the spirit world, and plenty of exercises for you to test your knowledge with the spirit world. With connections, everybody who's got their guides and things, go away, question them, build on that relationship. It's important. It's a vital part of your spiritual path that your relationship with your guide is one of the best that you can get there. Do not wear that guide as a second skin, because that's not what they're there for. But building that relationship is definitely there for. All right. I will see. The next update will be, I don't know, I'll let you know on the Facebook page, because it's like Manic City on that planner at the minute. Honestly, I've never seen nothing like it. I thank you for your time this evening. Take care of yourselves, all right? Watch how yous go, and I'll catch up with yous all soon, all right? Big kisses, big hugs, all right? Bye, everybody, bye. I don't even know how to switch it off. Anyway, let's have a look there.